Hey guys, welcome to Automotives Technica, and in this video I'm going to show you Eltron Turbo mini auxiliary lights which are pretty small. So if you see, it's just maybe 1.5 inches or 2 inches of length, and the diameter is approximately 1.25 inches. So this is like with a lens, and this is nothing but a plastic, and this is aluminum. The housing is aluminum, the lens is plastic, and this is removable, and this has been glued at a certain point so that it remains tight, but there is a rubber washer. I've seen it, and it consists of two chips. One is the yellow light and one is the white light. So two chips they call it, but it is not actually a chip. It is nothing but a combination of gallium arsenide, where when you pass it through the electricity, it's a semiconductor, and it glows. So that is how the LED works. So these are LED lights, and since this is a heat sink here, and it is been embedded with a small fan. So here is the small fan. So that is meant for cooling, and this is like detachable, so that if you want to remove it from the vehicle, this can be removed out. And this is it has got a red washer here, so this protects all the water seepage into the wires. And I have already made some of the connections. So there are two separate uh, fog lamps, auxiliary lamps, and what happens here is it gives two blasters here. This is called as the blasters, and there are three inputs. So one is ground, one is for the yellow light, and one is for the white light. So in this, yellow light is the yellow wire, white light is the red wire. I have combined it into a socket. So this two are together, and one is the ground. So to these two, I have a three-way switch here, which is nothing but from Eltron Turbo. It looks to be a good quality. So one, and middle is off, up is another channel. So this has got this is a two-way switch, and one portion goes to the positive of the battery. The other two you can selectively 1 and 2. So this are like, I have put a top as the yellow light and down as white light. In between it is switched off. So this goes to one of the middle wire, goes to the battery, the positive terminal of the battery, and from the blaster the negative are combined, that goes to the negative terminal of the battery. So now let's see how much ampere it takes. So these are small, right? So the motive is not to load the battery, so not to directly connect it to the battery, because if you connect it to the battery, you require a separate wiring harness. So not this one. So this is the wiring harness, where you have to put a relay, the two terminals to the battery, and it goes to the fog lamp directly. So this is a two-way, not the three-way type, but you can manage it. And this requires to be connected to the battery, and overall the chassis, you have to remove the tank and so on. So these are not a huge consumption of the bulbs. So you can consider, because the consumption is like just 1.3 amperes as per the spec. The spec says it's 1.3 amps, and the voltage rating is like, it's actually a DC. It should be within 9 to 80 volts they say, but the vehicle battery is 12 volts, so 12 to 14 it varies, should not be a problem. And it says the lumens are 3000 lumen, and wattage is 20 watts per bulb. So if I calculate, if it takes 1.3 amps, so there are two bulbs. One is yellow light LED, and one is white light LED. So if only one can be mutually exclusively on. So if you select yellow LED, it takes 1.3 amperes plus another. The second one will take another 1.3 amperes, so it is 2.6. So multiply by the voltage. So if I roughly calculate it as like 2 point something, so 2 into 12 to the 24. So approximately this is comes to be 26 to 27 watts. So let's measure and see. Before that, I'll fire up these LEDs and show you how it looks. I didn't cover up what's the importance of this. You have an ignition wire which is coming out from the headlight dome. So that is nothing but when you push on the key, a small wire will be lighted up, like it will be having a live 12 volts, and it will come to this should be connected to the positive of the uh, terminal which is coming out of the ignition. So the ignition can carry up to 2 amperes to 3 amperes, and I believe this is sufficient to drive this small low consumption LEDs. But there is a heat generated here in this aluminum heatsink, and it is taken care by the fan. So once it is out on the bike, ensure that there is a proper wind or acceleration. And I think I have tested this thoroughly, but there is no problem while using it. So I tested it in a room and put it for 1 hour 2 hours continuously, and it didn't happen anything. So the heat was like properly radiated outside, and there was no much heat out. I can touch this with bare hands. So folks, I have done the connection here from the positive of the ammeter, which is multimeter in the 10 ampere ammeter mode, which measures the current. The positive of the terminal comes to the positive of the ammeter, the output of the ammeter, which is in series, which goes to the switch, the common point of the switch, and through the switch, the output of the switch when is in 0.1 and 0.2 mode, it goes to the yellow LED, and the second one goes to the white LED of both of the auxiliary lamps. Now both are loaded, and the negative of the blaster, which is connected to the battery. Now the circuit is complete. I have the switch here, and ampere is shown as the right one. It's not in milliamperes, it is directly in the amperes. So first I'll open up the light up the yellow LED. So it is showing 1.91. So it is drawing out more current. If it gets once heated, then the semiconductors resistivity changes. So but there is a regulator, there is a circuitry inside which does the operations for you and stabilizes the current. So the battery voltage also does matter when you raise the accelerator of the engine, and what happens is the RPM changes, and the regulator also gives you from 12 to 14 volts, and the alternator gets more than that, so to charge the battery. So that is again but output of it is like somewhat nearly to the 12 to 14 volts. So that is managed, and if you see 1.91 approximately, you can take it as 2 amperes at 12 volts is 24 watts for both the auxiliary in yellow light mode. Now if I come to the white light mode, okay, so that is 2.07. It can use more or less slightly more of your power. Now it's like again 12 to 24, so 12 volts into 2. I'm taking it because the battery is 12 volt here. And what we conclude is, if you connect it directly, the wire coming out from the ignition, there should not be a much load. I've used a bigger LEDs like this one on directly of the ignition of the Interceptor. Well, it was working fine, but it is recommended, this kind of LEDs are recommended to be driven from the battery. So because these are very high power, approximately it comes to be 60 watts, both of them, a combination of it. And if you hear, I believe it's light feeble, it will be in this position, and it will be elliptical. This is the low beam, and white happens to be the high beam, little bit up. So as per the rules that it is said that it should be yellow light for the auxiliary, and apart from that it should be lower wattage than the headlight, and it should be placed below the headlight, and it should not be directed towards up, it should be towards the down, towards the road. So some kind of rules were there existing. I need to recheck the rules because they change as per the year to year, and it's come for the OEM, it is different, and for putting some auxiliary as an accessory. It is what you have to adhere to the rules. Now the motive is, these are the fog lamps or auxiliary lamps, both you can see, because it is got a yellow and it has got a white light. So when there is no one on the road, if you are going on non-tarmac, then the white light also will be useful. So is it kind of good thing to be on your bike? I believe yes, because the headlight what you have for Interceptor is approximately 55-60 or something, and high beam is more, that is 60-65 watts, and these will be like within the spec of the rules, which is nothing but both are at 24 watts, and it will be mounted on the clamps or on your crash guard. So for mounting the crash guard, you have these kind of mounting points where it can be sit on the crash guard, and it will be mounted here. So under that you can put, with these clamps applied by the seller, you can put it like this or either on top of it, the way you require. So, and the seller gives you 2 bolts, 2 nuts and small Allen key screws to mount these onto the clamp. So once it is mounted, the wire should be down and it should be like this. So this will be the good mounting point, and it will be like this. Wow, that's a tricky thing when you do it, but it's quite easy. I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to put this on Interceptor. If you have any questions, please do comment on the video, and please subscribe to my channel Automotive Technica. Push the thumbs up button, that will motivate me to make more videos. And please do comment if you like to see such videos again, and a different type of auxiliaries. Yeah, stay tuned and stay blessed.